Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for our Meet the University event this afternoon. And today's an opportunity to listen to Vicky Glazer from the University of Exeter, who's going to talk to you about the University of Exeter and also the course on offer and a number of other areas in terms of applications or anything else you have questions about. So she will cover as much of the sort of extra offering as she can in the next sort of half an hour or so. Our plan is that we've got a question and answer bar live now. There's a panel there, so if you've got any questions you want to ask, then please do ask them through the panel. I'll try and ask them to Vicky in batches, so as relevant questions come through, I'll put them forward to Vicky as and when we have an appropriate chance to do that. Just bear in mind there is a delay of around about a minute on the live stream, so if we don't come immediately back to a question, don't worry about that. We will pick it up as we go through. So we're planning for sort of around about finish about 4:45, maybe a little bit early. We'll see how we do. But I'll hand over to Vicky now, and she'll be talking to you for the next few minutes about the University of Exeter.
Brilliant, thanks very much and welcome. Thanks for joining us. I'm Vicky and I'm an outreach officer at the University of Exeter, and yeah, I'm going to give kind of a really quick but hopefully covering lots of the key things about the University of Exeter to give you a really good understanding of really maybe why you should be considering us in your options within your UCAS application. So starting off with a couple of kind of just facts and figures about the University of Exeter. So if you aren't aware, we are part of the Russell Group, and the Russell Group is a group of 24 of the UK's leading research intensive universities in the UK, which means that a lot of the courses that we offer are kind of distributing and making sure that the current research in that area is really at the forefront of that degree. There's also some fantastic benefits in terms of the facilities that research intensive Russell Group universities have as well. I'm not going to go through all of these here, but I would say that a couple of these are things that you might want to look out for when you are considering universities. We're really lucky to have achieved the TEF Gold. TEF stands for Teaching Excellence Framework, and this is where universities are assessed on their level of teaching. It goes kind of gold, silver and bronze, and we're really proud to have achieved the Gold Award there. We're a campus university, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means and what our campuses are. But in terms of your decision making, there's often two different types. There's a campus university, which is where lots of the facilities and buildings are all in one place on a campus, and then a city university, which is where lots of different university buildings are maybe spread across a city, and you go to different areas depending on the subject that you study. And finally, we're currently 12th in the league tables, in the Complete University Guide, and in the Sunday Good University Guide. We are number 12, which again, we're really proud of at the moment. So before I start talking to you a little bit about the University of Exeter, I thought I'd show you a quick video so that you can actually visualise and see some of the stuff that I'm talking about as we go through this session. So hopefully this is going to work okay for you. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a little bit of an insight into some of the stuff I'm now going to be talking about. And kind of as it's already been said, do feel free to ask any questions as we go through, and I can try and get to those either throughout, or we can take some of those at the end as well. But I've spoken a little bit about the campuses that we're a campus university, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the different campuses that we have at the University of Exeter. So we've got three main campuses. We've got our Streatham campus and our St Luke's campus. Both of those are based in Exeter, and you can see on the map here where we are. We're in Exeter and we're in Devon for those two campuses. We've then also got a third campus, which is our Penryn campus, and this is in Cornwall, and we share this campus with Falmouth University. So the main differences between the campuses is, of course, the location. So between the two campuses, it is around about a 2.5 hour journey, about a 2.5 hour kind of car journey. And also the campuses do offer quite different subjects in some circumstances. So our Penryn campus has a particular focus on more kind of environmental and conservation-based programmes. So we do have things like marine biology, zoology, animal behaviour, environmental science, and these are subjects that are bespoke to the Penryn campus, and this is really to do with the research that's undertaken here, and also the location, in the fact that it's a really nice rural location, so you can do a lot of practical work in the local area. We do have some courses that are spread across both of the campuses. So things like English, law, history, maths. These subjects are actually offered at both locations, so you can choose to study them at our Streatham campus in Exeter, or also our Penryn campus in Cornwall. And the differences between these two courses are often the actual content, so what you'll be learning on these courses, and also the entry requirements. The actual degree that you get at the end of it is no different. It's still a University of Exeter degree, regardless of where you study. In terms of whichever campus you're on, you still get the same degree. But it's just worth bearing this in mind, because if you are considering Exeter and you are searching for different courses, it's worth bearing in mind that you need to be looking at the right location that you want to be in as well. Between our Exeter campuses, so in our Streatham campus and our St Luke's campus, again, you would be based at normally one or the other. Our St Luke's campus is slightly smaller, and it's where our medical school is based. So if you're studying medicine or any of our kind of allied healthcare professional programmes, you'd be focused there. Also our sport and health science programme, and some other courses are located there. The remainder and kind of the bulk of our courses are based at our Streatham campus. What's really great about the campuses in Exeter is that they're actually only about a 20-minute walk away from each other, so you can travel from one to the other quite easily. And both of our campuses are about a 15-20-minute walk from the city centre, so you're right in the heart of everything. You know, I kind of always say you get the best of both worlds, in the sense that you have, you know, everything you would need at the university campus in terms of accommodation, facilities, learning spaces, you know, restaurants, bars, clubs, cinema, theatre. They're all on the university campus, but you can also then go into the city centre and kind of have that aspect as well. I'll show you a little bit more about the campuses if we have time at the end, but I would recommend, you know, taking a look around online. We've got some fantastic virtual tours that I'll try and show you to really get a sense of what these campuses look like, and what they could offer you as well. Quickly about our community, so we would call ourselves a medium-sized university. We've got around about 27,000 full-time students from over 150 different countries. 20 to 25% of these students are international. And again, a couple of stats on the staff that we have in Exeter, and also the alumni that we have. So alumni are students that have now graduated and gone on into their certain career, but used to come to the University of Exeter. So what do we teach at the University of Exeter? And I often get asked if we have a particular specialism, and the answer is we don't. We really excel in quite a broad range of subject areas. We have 40 subject areas, you know, spanning from medicine, law, business, drama, sport and health science. There's so many different subject areas that we have to offer, and I'll be happy to, you know, talk about any particular courses that anyone would be interested in. We have around about 300 undergraduate courses to choose from, and it is, you know, really great to have a look on our website and really have a look at the different types of courses that we offer and whether that aligns with what you're hoping to get out from your university experience. We have a modular system, so we have different modules that are available within your course. So within your degree, each year of study, you'll have a certain amount of modules that you can choose, and these are the different topics that kind of will be covered within your degree. Typically in your first year of study, you'll have a lot of compulsory modules that you have to undertake that are kind of essential to that degree and the subject knowledge that you need. And typically, as you move forward in your second and third or kind of optional fourth year, you get what we call optional modules. And this is where you can go in and you have a long list of different modules and you pick the ones that interest you the most that you want to learn about. And again, I would recommend having a look on the website because especially for some particular subjects, the modules that are on offer are really going to help shape whether that course is really what you want to study and whether you're going to get out of it kind of what you're hoping and whether it aligns with where your subject interest is as well. We have 6 academic colleges at the University of Exeter, and this is where your kind of different subject areas are grouped. We have the College of Humanities, the College of Life and Environmental Sciences, our business school, our College of Maths, Engineering and Physical Sciences, our College of Social Sciences and International Studies, and our College of Medicine and Health. Those are our 6 kind of umbrella colleges, and all of the different courses fall underneath there. So when you kind of pick your subject area and the course you want to study, there are a few variations in the terms of how we teach. For loads of our courses, we have options to add on a study abroad year or an industrial placement or professional experience year. This terminology really just means a work experience year, and this would mean that you'd be studying for 4 years instead of 3, and you add in a year where you go and study at a partner university in another country, whether that's within Europe or further afield. Or you'd find an industrial placement where you go and work in an industry for a year and gain experience. You don't have to choose this option, but they can give you some really fantastic opportunities. And if you head to our website, you can look at the course you're interested in. And especially for study abroad, you can actually look at all the universities that we're partnered with. And these are kind of like China, USA, the Netherlands, Japan, Canada. There's some really fantastic places that might be on offer for you to go and study at. Lots of our courses also have additional kind of extras, I guess, in the ways that we teach. So some programs will include field trips, both within the UK and also international field trips as well, so field trips abroad. We have some really great flexibility, and one thing that I often mention is our course called the Flexible Combined Honours, and this gives you a really kind of unique opportunity to combine 2 or 3 subjects together. So if you are at the moment kind of between 2 subjects, you're not sure which course you want to go for, our Flexible Combined Honours degree gives you a really good chance to be able to combine 2 sometimes quite random subjects together and have that as your whole degree, where you learn 50% one, 50% the other. You can do some great combinations, and you can also include a study abroad year for those as well. So if you are one of those people that isn't quite sure what route you want to go down yet, I would recommend having a look at our Flexible Combined Honours degrees because they're really quite exciting to be able to combine different things together. And finally, I've mentioned already, we are a Russell Group University, which means that research really is kind of at the forefront of everything we do. And this will trickle into your teaching as well. And some of the different research areas that we have are mentioned here. So these are some of our key current research areas that we focus on. So there's some really exciting and also really important stuff happening behind the scenes. And as an undergraduate student at one of these universities within the Russell Group and at Exeter, you will get the chance to be able to not only learn your subject, but also at times be learning kind of the current research that's happening within your area. So especially if anything you're looking at kind of falls under or kind of aligns with any of these different research areas that we focus on, there's the chance to get involved in some really exciting stuff. So a little bit about the support that we can offer you, and then I'll talk about some fun stuff, and then hopefully we can get to some questions. So there is some fantastic support, and I think it's really important to think about this when you are looking at the universities that you're considering, because how you're supported is so important in two ways. And the first way is the academic support that you can receive. And you can see here all of the academic support that we put in place at the University of Exeter in terms of a personal tutor, academic skills support, academic engagement, kind of on a one-to-one basis if you need it, and some fantastic new virtual platforms that we run as well. So we've got iExeter, which has actually been running for a really long time, but you can download it on your phone as an app, and you can manage your timetables, submit essays, and kind of keep on top of all of your studies through an app on your phone. We also have some really great kind of pastoral wellbeing support as well. So we have on-campus health centres, so you can register with one of our health centres when you arrive on campus. We have some really fantastic and kind of bespoke support in terms of disability and mental health support. It's very much on a kind of case-by-case basis, and depending on what level you may want to interact with that service, there's certainly the support available for you in terms of caseworkers, kind of more ad hoc support if you just want more of a drop-in session. It's really there if you need it, and it's just about knowing where to go and to reach out and really grab hold of that at any point during your journey through university. Other support that we have there, and I would recommend, really making sure that if you're choosing a university, making sure that it can provide you with any additional support that you may, be interested in or need as a student studying within that university. So a little bit about accommodation, and do feel free to pop any kind of specific questions about accommodation if there's anything that I haven't covered, because I could certainly talk about accommodation for quite a long time, but I'll try and keep it quite brief. At the University of Exeter, we have halls of residence, so we have first year accommodation available both on our campus or near the campus. So as I've said, the city centre is walking distance from the campus, and some of our accommodation is based more in the city centre, or kind of on the outskirts of the city, but none of them are kind of more than a 20-25 minute walk away from the campus. But we also have lots of accommodation blocks on the campuses themselves. There's a mixture of catered and self-catered accommodation. So catered is where you don't have a kitchen in your accommodation. You would have your breakfast and dinner provided for you in like a dining room, kind of canteen style environment. And self-catered is where you would have a shared kitchen and you'd be responsible for doing your food shopping and cooking your meals. There's no kind of one or the other that's better than the other. It's very much down to the individual and what works for you. Would bear in mind, if you have a particular sport commitment or other kind of extracurricular commitments, self-catered can be a little bit more flexible. Catered do have specific times, and if you do have sports training in the evening, you just want to make sure that it lines up with that. There's also really kind of loads of different options depending on whether you want a double bed, a single bed, an ensuite bathroom, a shared bathroom, whether you want a brand new accommodation block. There's so many different choices, depending on your budget and also just depending on kind of what's important to you as well. I would recommend having a look. We also have our new accommodation blocks, which are called East Park and Moberly. They're brand new for your year of entry. They should be ready, and quite exciting. If you're interested in some brand new accommodation, do go and check them out. And we also have a guarantee with our accommodation. So if you put the University of Exeter as your first choice, then we'll guarantee you first year accommodation. You apply for this before you get accepted, and you put down different blocks that you like. You kind of rank them 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. It does change each year, so that you get kind of hopefully one of your top choices in your university blocks. If you don't put Exeter as your first choice, that's fine. But if you come through to us on your second choice or through clearing, we won't guarantee you a first year accommodation, but it will work on a first come, first served basis. And again, do pop any extra questions about accommodation in the chat if you wanted me to go into anything a little bit further. So a little bit about the different student unions that we have. So in Exeter, we have the Guild, in our Exeter campuses, and in Cornwall, our Penryn campus, we have the Falmouth and Exeter Students' Union, and the Students' Union is shared with Falmouth University because we share the campus, so they also share the kind of social aspect of that. The Students' Union is really a chance to get involved with other students. It's run by the students, and it's just kind of a fun environment to be a part of. There are different societies that are run by the Students' Union. We have over 200 societies, and these can be anything from kind of your subject society, so maybe you're part of the Law Society or the History Society, also all the different sports societies, and I'll talk about sport in just a minute. And also just really random societies like Baking Society or like Cheese and Wine Society or Paintballing Society, like so many random things. And you can really get involved in whatever you want and have some fun. And you can join as many as you want as well. Lots of them do have a joining fee, and that will vary depending on the society, but they give you a really great chance to get involved and also meet new people, and I would recommend having a look on some of the different society websites to have a look and see which ones might be of interest to you. There's loads of events that are run by the Students' Union as well, so they run various different like live music events, different like end of year balls, loads of different stuff is going on, and it changes every year, but there's a lot to get involved in, and I would definitely recommend getting yourself out there and just trying something new. And there's no commitment to any of these either, so you can dip in, dip out wherever you need to. A little bit about sport as we draw towards the end. We've got fantastic facilities at the University of Exeter, and I know that I would say that anyway, but we have had £25 million invested in our facilities. We've got an international standard water-based hockey pitch. We've got a 3G rubber crumb pitch, which is used for rugby and some other sports similar to that. We've got an athletic development centre. We've got 10 indoor courts as well as 2 outdoor courts for our tennis centre. We are 5th in the Bucks League. So Bucks is the British University and Colleges Sports League. It's a high-level league where universities compete against each other, and we're currently overall 5th, and we're also 1st in rugby and hockey, and one other, maybe golf or something. But yeah, we're definitely 1st in hockey and rugby at the moment as well. We've got an athletics union in Exeter, and also the Falmouth and Exeter Students' Union sports department in Penryn. And within those different unions, we have over 100 different sports clubs on offer. You can interact with these at, again, any level. If you are a high level athlete, then we, have a particular pathway that could be on offer for you in terms of high level performance sport. If you want to get involved recreationally and just have a bit of fun and play some intramural sport, there's also the opportunity to do that as well. So there's really lots of different levels that you can interact with sport, but certainly if you are kind of a high level athlete, and you want to know a little bit more about the opportunities on that side of things in terms of bursaries or scholarships, then do get in touch, and we can put you in touch with the people that may be able to have those conversations with you. Careers and what's next is really important, and for a lot of people, that's not something you're thinking about at this stage, and you might have no idea what you want to do in terms of your career, and that's absolutely fine, but the support and service is there when you need it. So we've got an award-winning careers service at Exeter, and we try and kind of shape that side of things as you go, with opportunities to undertake kind of different skills training, work placements, internships throughout your studies if you want, to help set you up for that next step. And again, it might not be something you're thinking about now, but certainly something that you might want to think about as you enter university. And again, happy to have more conversations about the career side of things from the University of Exeter's point of view. And just to finish off, and then, hopefully you can answer any questions that you might have, talk a little bit about applying. So we are a competitive university, and we do receive approximately, these are very approximate and change each year, but around about 42,000 applications each year. Our planned intake does vary each year, and the last information I was given was that our planned intake is normally just under 6,000 students. So you can see there the level of competitiveness in terms of the applications to how many students actually come to the University of Exeter. And we're often asked what makes you stand out to us, and we're really looking at your entry grades, so the entry requirements. So in the first instance, we're looking at what you've achieved and what you're predicted at A level or equivalent, and that's going to be kind of the main thing that shapes whether you're going to get an offer from the University of Exeter. Of course, there's the personal statement that goes alongside that, and for a competitive university in general, we would be looking, collectively competitive universities will be looking for around 75 to 80% of your personal statement to be directly talking about your subject interest and why you want to study that course or subject. And then the additional kind of 20-25% to be incorporating your skills and any kind of extracurricular things that you want to mention, but definitely the bulk of your personal statement should be really talking about the subject you're interested in and demonstrating your kind of understanding and knowledge of that subject area as well. So just to visualize kind of where you guys are at the moment, you're here. So this is where kind of you kickstart your journey if you are in year 12. This is kind of where you're at. You can see as you move through the things you can expect to see. And at the moment, there is a big question mark around open days. And typically these would happen in May and June for us. At the moment, it's unlikely they'll go ahead in kind of a full large scale open day as they normally would, due to obvious reasons. But we are hoping there may be some opportunity to visit our campuses. We can't guarantee at the moment, but there may be some opportunities to come and visit our campuses during the summer. And there may also be a chance to visit some kind of open day in September, October time. So I would really recommend, if you are looking out for open days, to keep an eye on our website, and I'm happy to share some links to be circulated later where you can keep up to date with our developments and how we're going to hopefully open up our campuses for you guys to come and have a look at. On that kind of topic, I just wanted to leave with you some next steps. So obviously we are slightly more limited at the moment in terms of virtual delivery. So we do have some fantastic virtual events that we're running, which are covering lots of different topics, going into some of these things in a little bit more detail, like personal statements, student finance, we've got one focusing on sports. We've got lots of different sessions that we're running, and at the moment we're delivering those every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock live on Zoom. You can sign up for those for free and kind of drop in and out as you please, but we're covering lots of different topics if you did want to find out more. We also have live academic chats that are happening on our website. You can sign up for those if you wanted to have an opportunity to talk to some of our academics or students studying those subjects that you're interested in. You can sign up for some of those. Just mentioned it, we've got kind of online open days and hope for some possibility to come to campuses, but don't quote me on that because who knows what could happen, but do keep an eye on our website. And finally, we have our virtual tours, and hopefully I'll just show you what these look like quickly. These are what our virtual tours look like, and for an example, I will click on into our Streatham campus. This is our kind of largest campus in Exeter, and this is what you guys can really do from home. You can have a browse around and see, what our campuses really look like. It's definitely not the same as coming in real life, and I do appreciate that, but it does give a bit of an insight into, what does the campus look like? What is a university campus? And you can use these areas to have a look at different parts of our campus and really just navigate around and just have a little bit of a look into what's available. You can have a look at different kind of sports facilities. You can, have a look at different buildings. There's so many different things you can have a look at here. This is our forums, the kind of hub of our university. Normally this area is just full of students kind of chilling around, studying, catching up. And this is inside the kind of main area of our university building. It's normally not this quiet. It's normally very busy and bustly. And inside here you can see one of our lecture theatres. This is one of our largest lecture theatres on this campus. And And it just gives you a really good insight into, you know, what it could be like to wander around a campus. You know, at the moment we can't do that, but it's just the next best thing, I think. And you can go into these whenever you want and have a look. And we've got one for all three of our campuses. You can look at some of the kind of particular sports facilities as well. So it really does give you a great chance to really gain an insight into what it could be like wandering around our university campus, making the most of our sports facilities. Again, it's never normally this quiet in the gym. But I'll leave you to have a look through that yourself, but you can do that for each of our campuses and really have a browse through either by campus or by subject as well. So that's all from me for now, and I'm happy to see if there's any questions that have come in.
Okay, yeah, Vicky, there's a couple of questions come through. One I'm just going to publish now, which is how will learning from COVID impact future teaching? What's it going to, what is university teaching going to look like after what you've learned over the last year or so?
I think it's going to vary depending on subject. So, you know, do I think that face-to-face is going to come back? Absolutely. You know, there is going to be face-to-face teaching coming back, but I do think some things that we've learned through virtual delivery could stay. I think it's really great for some people to be able to have like more open access and more flexible access to lectures and seminars online, to be able to pause, to be able to record, to be able to kind of access those whenever you want. Definitely has some great benefits for students, and some parts of, you know, virtual delivery and a kind of blended approach of virtual delivery and face-to-face delivery, I imagine would stay. But again, there are some courses where this probably wouldn't work as well, when you do have like larger practical elements, and hopefully, you know, when we can and when you guys would be coming to university, hopefully we'll be in a much different position in terms of availability of going into labs with people and undertaking more practical face-to-face work. And
then another question is, who should somebody contact if they've got a question about a course or an admissions issue or anything like that? What would be the best approach for them?
There's a couple of ways you can do it. So you can contact your teacher, and they will pass it on to myself and I can look into that, and that's definitely a good way to go. If your teachers do have great contacts with universities, then that could be a great way to keep everyone in the loop. But there's also, you know, admissions departments in every university, and we have like an inquiries form that you can contact, or an email address or a telephone number, depending on which way you prefer to interact. The inquiry form, you just pop your inquiry in and someone will get back to you, or you can pick up the phone and just give them a call if that's easier for you. There's a couple of different ways to get in touch. I would recommend going through admissions, because they normally are the kind of beacon of all knowledge in terms of getting into different universities. But if it is a little bit more subject specific, or if it's specific to accommodation, each of these departments on the website normally have contact details where you can get in touch with them. So I would just definitely have a browse through the website, but certainly, you know, I can help with any of that stuff. So if you go through your teacher and they come to me, I can help signpost all of those things as well.
And you've also got the Ask a Student portals already. Most universities have those now, don't they?
Yeah, so lots of universities are linked up with something called UniBuddy, and this is like a live chat function. So you'll see if you go on our website, most of the course pages, you'll have like a little pop-up in the bottom right corner, and that's students that are available to chat to. So it's just like a little live online chat, and you can just type any questions you might have about the subject they're studying, or anything about student life as well. So what's is good about the position that we've all been put into, which is moving online, is that loads of universities now have a much better online offering. So they've got much better at being able to interact with you guys online and more quickly, getting more quick responses. So definitely have a look. The websites of universities are always the best place to go to for all of the information.
And then another question someone asked here, what do you think are the best aspects of Exeter University compared to others?
I think it depends on what you're looking for from an individual point of view. If you're going to university for your course, then, you know, I would recommend having a look into the course content and whether that course actually lines up to what you want to do. If you're going to university for kind of the lifestyle, the independence, it really depends on what you're looking for. What I think is great about the University of Exeter is it has a little bit of everything. We are a top university. We have fantastic courses. and world-class academics that are teaching those. But we also have a really fun campus environment, and we're really lucky where we are, that we are, you know, only a 2-hour direct train from London Paddington and about 3 hours from Waterloo, and that's direct train, so you can just hop on at Exeter 2 hours later and you're out at Paddington. So we've got some great links to London, but we also have some really great links to local beaches and local countryside. So in Exeter you can go on the train for 10 minutes and you're at Exmouth Beach. You can go on the train for about 20 minutes, you're at Teignmouth Beach. So it gives you that chance to not only be academic and be in that university bubble, but also to be able to get kind of well needed and well deserved respite, and a chance to also, you know, take care of yourself in the local area as well.
Can I ask about scholarships and bursaries? Are there any available for students?
Yeah, absolutely. So scholarship side, we offer scholarships for sport and for choral and for a couple of other niche things. They're much more on a case-by-case basis. So for a sports scholarship, you're really looking at playing at international level, and a couple of other different caveats to that. So I would recommend going to the website, and there's an expression of interest form. So you complete the form for the for scholarships with all of your information, and someone from the team gets back to you and talks through your personal circumstances and lets you know whether you would be eligible and meet the criteria to be awarded a scholarship. Bursaries, there's a few different types. We offer the Access to Exeter bursary, which is based on your household income. So for students that do have a household income of £25,000 or less, we offer a bursary of between £1,000 and £2,000, and this is awarded in 3 instalments throughout the year to support with your cost of living. We also have bursaries for care leavers, for some sports, bursaries to support with training and getting to and from matches and things. So there's a lot of financial support out there. Again, a lot of it is down to eligibility and a case-by-case basis. Said that so many times, but it really is down to the individual, and I would 100% recommend having a look at all the different ones that are on offer and then looking at whether you think you'd be eligible, because half the time it's about really going out and grabbing all of the stuff that could be available to you.
Can I ask a quick question about sort of it's difficult to know sort of crystal ball for next year, obviously there's been quite a bit of change with people not doing exams this year and next year. Do you think it will look quite similar for our year 12s as it has done in previous years in terms of admissions?
In terms of admissions, it's very difficult. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, a lot of kind of consultations and things that are happening that are out of University of Exeter's point of view and out of our control. It's more of kind of a wider issue. But at the moment, we haven't been given any information to suggest that for you guys that would change. Obviously, if there are developments that happen throughout your kind of year 12 and into your year 13 experience, you know, hopefully that'll be communicated to you, and the university websites and all of these sessions that we do will be able to reflect that as well. But at the moment, we haven't been told anything different. So I would definitely, you know, especially for competitive universities, you know, do make sure you try and keep up to date with your studies, because at the moment, you know, your predicted grades, your achieved grades, are what we're aware of as is going to be the entry, like it normally has been.
Thank you. I haven't got any more questions come through. We'll give everybody a couple of minutes just to ask if there's anything else that they might want to ask, and we'll just keep the chat live for a minute. I think we've covered most areas for a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, it's covered a lot. It's covered a lot. I hope you've stayed with me if you can.
I'm sure they have, and this again is just start of the process, isn't it, of exploring, looking. Certainly there are probably lots of degrees that you know about that don't get that many applicants that look really, really interesting, that everybody tends to go for what they've heard of in the past.
Absolutely. There's some really great different courses, and I would definitely kind of use all the stuff that you've heard today and go away and apply what's relevant to you from that and do a bit of research. In terms of courses at Exeter, there definitely are some different courses that people wouldn't necessarily gravitate towards. So we offer something called Natural Sciences, BSc in Natural Sciences, and that gives you a really amazing opportunity to be able to combine maths, engineering, physics, chemistry all together under one degree. So if you're really into science and you don't want to narrow it down to one area, natural sciences could be something to really have a look into. It's really amazing and allows you to learn across loads of different science areas. There's also a degree called liberal arts, And this is very much if you're into your kind of humanities and social sciences. Again, gives you the opportunity to not just narrow it down to one subject, but allows you to explore different subject areas throughout your degree, and then pick kind of your favourite or one to focus on at the end of your degree. And I think absolutely you wouldn't necessarily think of liberal arts because it might not mean that much to you at this stage, but definitely something to have a look into if you think you don't want to necessarily narrow it down to just one subject area.
Thank you. I think we'll finish there, but Vicky, I'm sure we'll be in contact over summer term, and if any students have got any questions, they can obviously use any of those contact points that you have as a university to ask those. So thank you ever so much for speaking this afternoon, and I'm sure we'll see you around over the next 6 months or so. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, and good luck with your kind of decision making.
Thank you. Just wait for John to take us off live.